Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History on this day. We have another source, but we are unable to allocate that, unfortunately. But anyway, for links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the box below. Anyway, on with the show!
On with the show! Happy New Year, everybody!
Happy New Year, Happy New Year! Today is Saturn's Day, aka Saturday, January 1st, 2022. May your 22 not be 2022. We do not need a sequel.
We do not need a remake at all.
No, we do
I
not.
am Alice. I am who is Alice. Welcome. And today's day in history, we have at 153 BC, for the first time, Roman consuls began their year in office on January 1st.
And
in
if you're
45,
wondering what a Roman consul is, it's the chairman of the Senate, which served as a board of advisors. They also commanded the Roman army, both had 2 legions, and exercised the highest judicial power in the Roman Empire. I'm gonna lower this music way down.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it's hard for me to get a gauge, but we can turn it up a little later. But so 45 BC, the Julian calendar took effect as a civil calendar of the Roman Empire, establishing January 1st as a new date of the new year.
So that means that the calendar is older than Jesus.
But then, in 42 BC, the Roman Senate posthumously deified
Julius Caesar.
Yeah. The Roman Senate posthumously defied. Why I want to say defied, but I know
they defied Julius Caesar's ghost. They're like, no, you shall not be emperor in this world or the next. We shall send ghost assassins to stab you in the back next time, you salad dressing of a man.
You know, I love Caesar dressing. I used to hate it.
Well, you cut out. No, there you are.
Caesar dressing has sardines in it. Did you know that? Or no, anchovies. I'm sorry.
Anchovies.
Yeah. So they deified Julius Caesar. He eats now. In 177 AD, Commodus, son of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, becomes consul first time at the spry age of 15. Then, the youngest ever Roman in history to be part of the consul.
Yeah. I'm playing around with where I'm gonna hold on a second.
God forbid we allow a teenager again to have a say in our government. I'm just saying. I mean, come on, man. Would you trust a 15-year-old?
No, I would not.
No, I wouldn't.
I'll read the next several ones here. In 193, the Senate chose Pertinax against his will to succeed Commodus as Roman emperor. Now, that's interesting. He was forced...
No, that's 177, it says, Commodus.
No.
Oh, no, sorry, that's 177, sorry. I only have 404. I'm at 177, then...
Yeah, you just read 177, and now we're down to 193.
Okay. But no, I don't have 193 on the script, so that's why.
Huh, weird.
Yeah, it goes from 177 to 404.
Oh,
80.
Okay. Well, anyway, the people watching the show, the show can see it, right here, that's
Fair.
interesting. Forced to rule a country, or an empire. That's.
That reminds me of the Monty Python episode, Search for the Holy Grail, where he's like, "But I don't want to. I just want to sing." No! Stop that!
Huh.
That's what that reminds me of. Being forced to rule. That would just be a shitty thing.
That would suck, honestly.
Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, if you don't want the power, shoot, why? Don't give it to me.
Well, speaking of power, in the year 404, and for the life of me, I've never been able to find that year, Saint Telemachus tried to stop a gladiatorial fight in a Roman amphitheater, inevitably to get stoned to death by the crowd. This act impressed the Christian Emperor Honorius, who issued a historic ban on gladiatorial fights. You know?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's like doesn't eventually we'll get to that later, but eventually they get so. But so 417
Yeah,
AD,
yeah. Like,
Emperor
well, and hold on
Honorius.
before you continue with that. Just to keep people in perspective, you think that Honorius is honorable, as his name suggests, ending gladiatorial fights and everything, but as as Queen of Doinks here was just about to read. Go ahead.
Or who is Alice. But in 404, or no, in 417, Emperor Honorius forced Galla Placidia into marriage to Constantius, his famous general, Brabro.
Yeah, this
Ooh.
is not a set in stone thing in history. This is just a probable thing. This is people are
Yeah,
speculating this. It's not
well, yeah,
actually
yeah,
officiated quite yet.
yeah. Placidia, is that his name? Yeah, Placidia
Uh,
or
Pl-
Placidia. No,
Placidia.
Placidia. Is that
Plus,
where you think like placenta came from?
um, maybe.
I doubt it, but you never know.
Well, what's funny is that there's a city out in California named Placentia.
Well, there's a Lake Placid out here on the East Coast. I mean,
There's a movie called Lake Placid. It has a big
yeah.
alligator.
Hey, look, this one.
No, it wasn't purple.
Should have been purple. Put it on my head now.
Well, speaking of purple alligators, in 630, Prophet Muhammad set out with an army of 10,000 strong to conquer Mecca.
Ooh, Muhammad, darn you in your 10,000 strong army.
Yeah, I don't know
Mecca.
why I called him a purple alligator either, but whatever.
He might as well be. Everybody's a purple. No one can draw the face of Muhammad. So for all we know, he could be a purple alligator.
You know what? That is true. You
These are
know,
the facts.
like
Man.
maybe the whole you can't draw the face of Muhammad isn't like a ban. It's more like a statement like that you don't actually know his face. It's not that you're
Yeah.
not allowed to. Well, you are not allowed to. Don't do it. But
Or maybe he was just a purple alligator and we're just ashamed to depict him as a purple
yeah.
alligator. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble.
Wait, would that make Jesus a green giraffe?
Yes. Or a pink flying elephant.
Pink elephants, have been used. You can see those in Dumbo
I
or
know.
something.
Something like that. Yeah. God, I've seen.
But anyway, let's move on up a bit. Let's start popping these off here. In
Yeah.
1001, Grand Prince Stephen I of Hungary was named the first king of Hungary by Pope Sylvester II. This as well is probable, although you'd think
Are you
that this
saying
had.
like Sylvester Stallone was a pope?
I don't think Sylvester Stallone was a pope.
He should have been a pope. Like he would be like no nonsense pope.
Yeah, he'd just be up in the Vatican every morning. Adrian!
Adrian! Moving onward.
Oh my
In
god.
1580, the Portuguese explorer Pedro Alvarez Cabral, he discovered the coast of Brazil.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say this right now. They say the most beautiful people come from Brazil. So maybe the Portuguese and the Spanish were onto something there.
Maybe, but like speaking of Brazil and stuff, just 2 years later in 1502, the present day location of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was first explored by the Portuguese. These Portuguese people, you know?
Oh, I tell you, man, they're the explorers. Yeah,
Yeah.
that purple alligator got my hair. All right,
You're not
Scott,
picking up. There you are.
in 1680,
Yep.
Scotland recognized January 1st as the start of the year instead of March 25th. Also, in 1780, Russia began using the Anno Domini era instead of the Anno Mundi era as the Byzantine Empire.
Byzantine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what
Byzantine.
these are, but like while I'm looking this up, I want to go back here.
Yeah,
Starting
let's
the
take a
year
look
on
back.
March 25th, like the Gregorian calendar is a real interesting thing. Like, everybody's used to the calendar, whatnot, but everybody knows about the Mayan calendar and all that thing, but there's hundreds, if not thousands of calendars throughout all of history.
Oh, I
And
know.
the
Like,
fact
remember
that,
they have a Chinese calendar too. No.
yeah, yeah, there's that too. Let's see here. What is Anno Domini?
Yeah. Sorry.
What is the Anno Domini? era of
And
the Byzantine Empire we were talking about is a calendar era based on the traditionally reckoned year of the conception or birth of Jesus.
oh,
So, okay.
ah, all right.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
like Russia, like in 1700, started using like the
the Christian
AD
calendar.
BC.
Yep,
Oh, that's what AD means. Wow, I'm an idiot. I thought
after Christ, basically.
I thought AD meant after death, but no, it's Anno
No, no.
Domini. So it's AD BC, before Christ, and Anno
Yep.
Domini, or
Yeah,
before Common
AD is
Era
like,
crap.
yeah. I thought you knew that.
Uh, I
You
did
know?
I did like, and then I forgot it. Like somebody told me that, not actually, like a week ago or something. But anyway, like
Yeah.
let's move on up to 1724. Glassblower
Oh,
Daniel Gabriel Fahrenheit proposed a system for making thermometers and the Fahrenheit temperature scale in a paper to the Royal Society of London, and is elected a fellow on its basis. So,
right.
Celsius, centigrade, Fahrenheit. Um, this guy made thermometers.
Yep.
Like,
Well, yeah,
that.
it was a glass blower. Well, it makes sense. Remember the old thermometers? They were made of glass that had the
Hmm.
mercury in them. Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But like in 1739, Bouvet Island, the world's remotest island, was discovered by French explorer Jean-Baptiste Charles
Jean
Bouvet de
Baptiste.
Lausier. Why do French people
Jeez.
have to have such weird names?
Well, they just have to, like, the top, I think. Like, they're the French, they're awesome. But in 1772, the first travel Shaquis, or yeah, Jacques,
Je ne sais
um,
quoi.
yeah, Jacques. See, another French person sounds okay. But in 1772, the first traveler Jacques, which could be used in 90 European cities, were issued by the London Credit Exchange Company.
I just remembered that's checks.
Oh, checks.
we're calling it Chequois. No,
Well, let's just check.
Chequois.
Well,
Do you
check
accept?
Jacques.
Do you accept a traveler's Chequois? What?
Would you
Like,
accept Jacques here?
do you accept cash, card, or Chequois? What?
Yeah, I'll take your Jacques.
You know
And
what?
I'll
We're gonna
leave,
start
and
calling
I'll
it
leave you
Chequois.
some
I'm gonna start calling
Jacques.
Czech Chequois. Just confuse everybody. It's like, no, if you use the old English way to spell it, and pronounce it like a Frenchman, it's Chequois.
Ooh, I get to do 1788. Can't wait for it.
Ooh.
But we're not at 1788.
But
Yeah.
anyway, going on up to 1773, the hymn that became known as Amazing Grace, then titled the 1 Chronicles 17:16 through 17, was first used to accompany a sermon led by John Newton in the town of Olney, Buckinghamshire, England. So that
Hey,
song,
that's
that
pretty fucking deep.
yeah. Now we know who to blame whenever we see those stupid like commercials pop up, and they show like all the starving people or all the animals in cages.
Not that Susan whatever
Amazing
lady, whatever.
Grace.
How sweet, or no, or God forbid you got the Sarah McLachlan,
Oh
you know,
God, I hate those.
for
Dude,
the
like, I
PETA. Or,
will remember you.
will you remember me? I don't think that's the actual song they use. I think no, it's in the arms of the angel.
Oh yeah,
In the
in the
arms
arms of an angel.
yeah. Please save your pets. Get them neutered.
Wait, no, wasn't that Bob Barker?
Yeah, Bob Barker was, but so was Sarah McLachlan
Yeah.
and Susan Sarandon and all the fun people.
But
Or no, was it
anyway,
no? Sally Struthers was the lady, the eating thing with the starving children. Sally
huh?
Struthers.
Oh
But
yeah.
anyway, 1776 though, General George Washington hoisted the first United States flag, the Grand Union flag, at Prospect Hill. Do, 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 do.
I should be ashamed of myself. I don't know the lyrics to any American songs.
I only know the Star Spangled Banner,
Well,
but it's a good one.
speaking of Star Spangled Bannerings, in 1781, 1,500 soldiers of the 6th Pennsylvania Regiment under General Anthony Wayne's command rebelled against the Continental Army's winter camp in Morristown, New Jersey, as part of the Pennsylvania Mutiny of 1781. We had a
Ooh,
mutiny during Like, was the Civil War still going on? No, not the
Uh,
Civil War, the Revolution. Like,
no, no. Oh, in 1781,
I
I
can
think
look
there was
this up.
still coming. I think there was still some like, rivalries, but I'm pretty sure that like I don't know. Good God, like I learned this in school, and for some reason I can't remember the life of me. This is what happens
Well,
when you.
it says here it lasted until January 14th, 1784.
Okay, so yeah, this was during the middle of the
So we had a
Revolution.
mutiny during the. And that's dangerous. That's a lot. A lot of people don't really realize just
Yeah.
like how volatile everything is. It's like like you look around, you think this country, it's been around for 300 years. And everything. There's like a million and one ways it very easily could have not been.
Yeah, like
Like
there
you cut out.
is. Oh, yeah,
There
it's
you are.
probably because of these stupid cars.
Yeah,
Apparently, everybody want and their mom wants to come down my road. But
that
you know,
sounds
good
wrong out
con-
of context.
I
Context.
know. But, yeah, well, everyone.
Everyone and their mom wants to come down your road. Good lord.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, I tell you. But like I actually live out here in the great state of PA, and it's kind of interesting, like the history behind like this place. Like Daniel Boone has a farm not far from where I live. I think it's Daniel, but they're trying to keep it up and everything, and like save money to keep it restored and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not far from me. I mean,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has a huge, thick thing of history here. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's one of the first states. Was it one of the 13 original colonies?
Pennsylvania, yeah. Like
Yeah. So yeah,
for the most part, all the states like on the East Coast, except for like
Pennsylvania is
Florida and
original state.
Georgia, like I believe.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like everything. Now, like excluding Maine, like
Yeah, I think
and
Maine was Canada.
but like the original 13 colonies, they didn't really change their shape for the most part. They were already established. Like maybe the borders have been changed. Virginia definitely changed. You know,
Oh yeah,
so
Virginia has been shape shifting for years.
yeah. But anyway,
So in
speaking of our country, um, the the antithesis of our country, in 1788, the first edition of the Times of London, previously the Daily Universal Register, was published.
ooh,
So
it's like our first little newspaper thingamajigger.
yeah, but that was London. That's not us.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, but coming back to
17,
us.
in
At the same year in 1788, Quakers in Pennsylvania emancipated their slaves.
that was mine to say.
I'm
Sure.
sorry.
You enslaved me for not saying it.
I am sorry.
It's okay. I still love you, my friend. But in
Well,
1800, guess what? The Dutch East Indies Company designed.
now that's interesting. The Dutch
Yeah,
East Indies Company. Let's see
is that
here.
like the East India Trading Company that was like used to be around or something? Is this like the Dutch's version of that,
I
or
believe so. The Dutch East
dissolved?
Indies Company. It was founded on March 20th in 1602. Um, it
So it lasted a
actually,
couple hundred. It lasted 198 years.
yeah, it actually ceased operations on December 31st of 1799.
Oh,
So
but
that
officially
was
dissolved on January 1st of 1800.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, this show is long as hell because it's January 1st. A lot of laws are coming into effect. A lot of things are rolling into
Yeah,
being. Yeah, things come into effect all year round, and it's been like that for, like, hundreds of years. But for the most part, like, you want to start something new? We'll start at the new year. Boom, it's that mentality of starting fresh, starting new, resolution, you know. You start new laws, no new legislator, new things come into be, like
new
it's
countries form. New countries die or countries die.
old countries die.
But old countries die. 1801 though, Ceres, the largest and first known object in the asteroid belt, was discovered by Giuseppe Piazzi. So it's like the
Giuseppe
largest.
bibbity boobity bobbity.
Bippity boppity boppity boop. Bippity boppity.
What am I hitting?
Bippity boppity boop. God, what's that one song that has bippity boppity? Is that like
From
Cinderella?
Cinderella.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, and then I was thinking about Dragon Ball Z, how, like, the Boo Saga, there's Bibbidi, Bobbidi, and Boo. So, like,
Jeez.
yeah. Anyway, but, like, and that same year, in 1801, the legislative union of Kingdom of Great Britain and the Kingdom of Ireland was completed, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland was proclaimed.
except for part of Ireland does not believe. Like, hell no.
Yeah, there's still a little section that's just like,
Yeah,
oi, fuck
Northern
off,
Ireland.
mate.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love those people.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in 1804, the French rule ended in Haiti. Haiti became the first black majority republic and second independent country in North America after the United States. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, on in the western hemisphere of the earth, at least the northern portion,
That's kind of big.
the United States was the first, but Haiti was the second, and Haiti was, black majority,
Yeah, and it's really funny because they also, it's like not only are they black, but they're French speaking.
Yeah. Dude, like I've heard like several stories throughout my life of like, people who are used to, those of African descent, in my country, the States, and like, they have their own language, like they talk their own way, they have their own version of English, but then like you go to like, the UK, and they're like, oh mate, how to spante, blah blah blah, send my love to your mum, best wishes. It's like, how is that coming out of you? Like,
bippity bippity bop. It's all Greek to me, even though that was Italian. I'm just an asshole.
We're just going all over like the Eurasian continent, aren't we? Like I'm feeling like that Key and Peele continental breakfast now. Like are you that guy? You're just like eating a muffin. You're like, oh my god, it's so good.
I've never seen that clip.
Oh
but
my
we're gonna
god!
have to put a
I gotta show that to you after this.
Oh, dude, you're gonna have to just put a little clip of that in real quickly, just of like just their faces. Who?
Well, you know what? I'll bring it up real quick. Key.
Oh my god.
Key Peele continental breakfast. Like this guy actually, they've done like several different videos like of this guy.
God, pulling into Spain. Baked to perfection.
He didn't even peel the banana.
No.
Dude, I've actually done that once where I just, out of curiosity, what it would be like to bite into a banana peel. Don't do it.
I already know it's not good. But,
oh, well,
but
yeah, well,
do you eat your burgers with or without the skin?
What? That's blasphemy.
But anyway, let's move on up to 1806. The French Republican calendar was abolished.
Whoa. Well, like, no one can trust the French.
Well, I mean, like, if it wasn't for the French, there would not be a United States, and if there wasn't a United States, there would not be an Australia.
They took their sweet damn time coming here during the Revolutionary War, I'll tell you what.
Well, they were already at war with, the United
themselves.
Kingdom. They already had their thing going on. But
yeah, they were battling two fronts during that time, if I believe.
But speaking of, you go ahead.
1808. Yeah, in 1808, the United States banned the importation of slaves.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Like, how convenient. Nobody's ever talking about anything like this. Like whenever, like, you go to any schools or anything, like, they do teach, they do teach about, like, the Emancipation Proclamation, the Civil War, what it was ultimately, a war about. It didn't start as a war about slavery or anything, but it certainly ended as one.
It definitely ended as one.
Yeah.
It definitely.
Like, we've been
wanting to fizzle it out.
We've been doing right, we've been doing wrong, but we've been doing right, as well. Like, a lot of people what a lot of people don't realize is that before, we did our thing, before Abe Lincoln did his thing and all that stuff, the United Kingdom, they basically, they did that first. I believe, if I'm correct. They did it back in 1830 or 1840 or something.
Yeah.
They banned the importation of slaves. They banned slavery. They took a massive hit to their economy, and it wasn't it wasn't until 2006 or something before all the debts were repaid.
Oh.
So people alive today were still paying dividends from that thing, 300 years ago, to free the slaves.
Oh, so that was finally paid, just recently.
Yeah, within the past 20 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
But the thing is
You cut out again.
Oh, it's fucking cars.
Yeah.
Gotta love these. Pennsylvania, I tell you, I gotta love the Dutch. Pennsylvania Dutch.
But
No,
anyway,
but anyways, 1834. We're gonna pop up a few more years
yeah,
in the future. Most of Germany formed the Bavarian Customs Union. It was the first such union between sovereign states.
yeah.
Is that like a workers'
And
union or?
Zolvarian Customs Union. Let me look
Oh,
that
is it for
up.
the customs, like for imports and exportations of
The,
things,
the
of goods?
Zolvarian or German Customs Union was a coalition of German states formed to manage tariffs and economic policies within their territories.
Ah, well, there you go.
So yeah, if you look at my stream here, like I have it popped up right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You also
Uh,
got to take in consideration for hundreds, thousands of years, maybe like all in.
you keep
I
cutting
don't think
out.
they actually got. It's because of cars. But no, back like up until maybe I think World War II, like all the borders in Europe had been changing around and moving around. Like it's hard for us to pinpoint our genealogy because of that.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not
well
sure
I mean, like it's still changing around. I mean, like
a little bit, not as much as before, but the borders are pretty much set for like Germany and Poland, France,
yeah. But something like a lot
Luxembourg.
of people don't realize. What country is it? Pakistan was like formed in like 1974 or something. You know what? Let me
Yeah,
look it up. I mean, like
yeah,
it was part of India. So like even like to recent times, there's still countries like forming, countries falling. Like
yeah. Well,
there's
remember, like
nothing
think
set in
about
stone.
Czechoslovakia. It's now the Czech Republic,
Cut out.
and then now but two, yeah, Austria-Hungary used to be one country itself, but now they're split into two.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like, and then you had the Bosnian War back in the '90s, and that totally changed the playing field in the Baltics.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, the Baltic states have been getting hammered for centuries.
oh, dude, well, Yugoslavia is no longer a country.
Oh wow, that's right.
I know,
Yeah.
and we were alive when it was a country, like, and now it's gone.
We
It's
were
just,
alive
it's,
when the Soviet Union was around.
dude, yeah,
Isn't that
yeah,
weird?
and yeah. Well, I used to take care of Odessa, Ukraine, as a caretaker.
You gotta set up a roadblock or something.
I know I
Like,
should. Like, seriously, these people, like, how is it? Like, it's New Year's Day, and these people just keep driving down this stupid road. It's like, come on, man. There's other roads you can take. There's a highway just like
maybe their
a block.
resolution is to piss you off.
Maybe that is their New Year's revolution. Let's try to incapacitate Alice a
Yeah.
little more.
But anyway, in 1847, the world's first Mercy Hospital was founded in Pittsburgh, United States, by a group of Sisters of Mercy from Ireland. And the name will
Oh,
go on to grace over 30 major hospitals throughout the world. And what is a Mercy Hospital? Let me look that up.
I believe it's like a for those who can't afford, maybe.
Mercy Hospital. What is?
I was going to say, why don't you just type in what?
It's not. Um, what is a Mercy Hospital?
Come on, Google.
Uh, well, Mercy Quick Facts. Let's see what this says. Oh, it's not telling me anything.
Don't you
Uh,
just love Dead Inert Theories still alive and kicking, guys?
well, we'll just go with the assumption that
It's for people who just couldn't afford it, like for maybe like poor people
yeah,
or like underappreciated people. I don't know. I don't want to
yeah,
offend anybody today, but I'm
un-
pretty sure I did earlier with my rants.
underprivileged.
Underprivileged, privileged.
Well,
So
anyway,
we're
in 1863, during the American Civil War, the Emancipation Proclamation took effect in Confederate territory.
ooh, dang.
So that has to be after the war.
It has to be. Yeah, I
Or
can't even remember when that
no,
war
no, the
ended.
war ended in 1865. So even though that, because it, okay, so what I'm thinking is that maybe that means like it, it was written to like affect that territory, but that territory didn't necessarily, well, obviously didn't abide by it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
we should actually do it like a. We should maybe sometime do like a just a day in history where we just talk about like Civil War stuff. Because I think a lot of people have forgotten the history of like why the Civil War really started, how it came to be. Forget, like, it wasn't between the North and the South. It wasn't against that, because there's even northern states that were against the, Emancipation
Yeah.
Proclamation. Like,
Well,
it's stories so befuddled.
Well, I mean, the cotton industry was a big industry, and a lot of northern places, like, they had their hands in it too. Like they had trade. They didn't necessarily own plantations and had slaves by themselves, but
But it definitely
supply has to
affected their
come from
business.
somewhere.
Supply
So,
and demand.
yeah.
Low supply on high demand. Here in no man's land. Sorry, I just threw a Billy Joel out at you.
But
But
anyway, moving on up to 1877, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom was proclaimed Empress of India.
not just a queen; she's an empress now.
Yeah, well, remember, the British Empire. They had all that land. You know.
Oh yeah, well, they had, like, what was it, the East India Trading Company? Is that still going along? Is that still around, the East India Trading Company?
I do not believe so.
I
East
don't think so
India
either.
Company. Uh, well, it doesn't say it ended.
But it doesn't still going
It
either.
was founded December 31st, 1600.
Oh wow! So actually, that happened yesterday in history.
Yeah, it did.
Holy crap! Well, there we go. Look at
Um,
that.
I think it
Well,
might still be around. I'm not seeing anything
so
otherwise here. Um,
I was just reading something wrong here. I was looking at the next day, in 1885. I was like 1885 through 1825. How's that work? I was like,
uh,
oh wait, in 1885, 25 nations adopted Sanford Fleming's proposal for standard time. Are now.
you keep breaking up the dang cars.
Hang on, yeah, hang on. Let me see that one more time. In 1885, 25 nations adopted Sanford Fleming's proposal for the standard time, which is also like, our time zones we have today. Time zones came in,
Now, see, the thing is that with time zones, one would think that there'd be 24. You know,
right?
yeah, but there's more like 30. It's weird, and like if you look at the map, like it's all jagged and
It's
horrible.
weird. It's weird how they have it. Oh, I got smoke in my eye.
You probably shouldn't do that.
It's a personal problem.
Well, it's not a me problem. Um,
Yeah, it's not you problem. In 1892, though, Ellis Island began processing immigrants into the United States, though, January 1st of 1892.
1892. Ellis Island, which is now like I think off limits or something. I'm not sure, but
Who
that,
knows?
that's where all the people like that's in actually I think it was in New Jersey technically, but they went from there to New York. But all the immigrants, all the people, like.
New York seemed like a better bet, but, like, yeah.
But speaking of New York, in 1898, New York annexed land from surrounding not countries, counties, creating the city of Greater New York. The four initial boroughs, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, were joined on January 25th by Staten Island to create the modern city of 5 boroughs.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Hmm.
There's some New York history for you.
Yeah.
We move up ahead one more year. In 1899, Spanish rule ended in Cuba. Cuba became their own.
You know what
From
went
what
through my
south?
head when you said moving on up? Like,
Moving on up to
I
the
was just
Upper
thinking,
East.
hey, I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm walking here. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the next year after that, in 1900, Nigeria became British Protectorate with Frederick Lugard as High Commissioner. Now, I want to continue on that role because in 1901, the Southern Nigeria Protectorate was established within the British Empire. And also in 1901, the British colonies of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, Tasmania, and Western Australia federated as the Commonwealth of Australia. Edmund Barton was appointed as the first Prime Minister. So happy birthday, Australia!
Happy birthday, Australia. Hey, I have a step sibling who lives out in.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, happy birthday there, stepbrother Wade.
Crikey! Put a ship
Crikey.
on the barbie, mate! Bloomin' onion and Foster's.
How to speak Australian. Or no, how to speak San Francisco. Vagina.
What?
Sorry, I had to make a basketball reference there from
A
there's a South
basketball?
Park. Basketball, yeah, it's like a cross between basketball and baseball. You got base great movie. It's really
I
but
think I remember hearing about that. But speaking of sports, in
yeah.
1902, the first American college football game, the Rose Bowl, between Michigan and Stanford, was held in Pasadena, California. So,
Oh,
the first Rose
California.
Bowl. Actually, the Rose
Happy,
Bowl's today, right? It's January 1st.
yeah, today's the Rose Bowl. You're absolutely
Is it
right.
even still a thing right now, or is it canceled because of
I believe because of the coup,
because of the coup? The
you know,
coup.
or the Rona, the coup, because of Unicron, that planet eater,
Unicron.
Unicron, the planet eater, starring Orson Welles and Leonard Nimoy. Sorry, Transformers, baby,
Yeah.
gotta love it.
Is Unicron the
Speaking
planet?
of,
Oh yeah, Cybertron is their
yeah,
planet. That's right.
yeah, Cybertron's a planet. Unicron was that big Transformer that ate was Planet Eater,
Yeah.
and
And,
was the voice was done by Orson Welles back in I think 1986.
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Huh.
But
But
in
anyway,
1912, the Republic of China was established.
and we're not
Thanks.
talking about the current China. We're talking about the China that fled to Taiwan. So
Yep.
modern day Taiwan, same
Is
government.
yep. And this is why China wants them so bad.
Yeah.
They're
They
just
want to finish the job.
they're hurting for a squirtin'.
What?
Sorry, I was 40-year-old virgining you.
I've never seen that movie,
Oh, dude, it's a great movie.
but in about 5 years and change, I'm gonna be that movie.
No, right? But in speaking of some times here, we're gonna move from 1912, the Republic of China was established. 1914, the SPT airboat line became the world's first scheduled airline to use winged aircraft. But weren't
Is
they
that
always
cool?
using wings on their aircrafts?
Well, no, I mean a dirigible, a zeppelin. There's balloons. There's lighter than an
Yeah,
aircraft. You know,
I know. I was being a jerk.
I
I
know.
just had. I was having my blonde moment.
Well,
We're gonna move to
moving on
1923
up to
here.
1923, Britain's railways were grouped into the Big Four: LNER, GWR, AR, and LMS. Which I don't know
Dude,
what any of those mean,
GWR,
but
I just want to say Guar,
Guar,
like the band Guar.
Guar.
Guar. Yeah, you should look up Guar real quickly because like the GWR just reminds me of like, hey, Guar had a rail line. No, they didn't. The Big Four. It's like the Big Ten. Oh, here comes another car. Look out.
2 years after that, in 1925, Norway's capital, Christiania, changed its name to Oslo. So, Christiania, that's an interesting name.
Yeah, I know. Actually, what's really funny and but when we got off the back when we immigrated to the United States, there were too many Nelsons, so we actually switched our last name on one side of my family to Holm for the last four letters of the capital of Stockholm, Sweden.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that's what we did, and like that's what we had. There was like there's just too many Nelsons. We don't want to be a Nelson.
hmm.
Fun little fact of my life.
Yeah,
But in 1928, Boris Bajanov
Bazanov.
defected. Bajanov, yeah, Boris Bajanov in 1928 defected through Iran. He was the only assistant of Joseph Stalin's secretariat. What?
Secretariat.
Secretariat. Let me just redo that one. In 1928, Boris Bajanov defected through Iran. He was the only assistant to Joseph Stalin's secretary. I can't say it.
In 1928, Boris Bazanov defected through Iran. He was the only assistant of Joseph Stalin's secretariat to have defected from the Eastern Bloc.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
I can't speak today.
That's all right.
Like when can I ever speak?
Well, I
But in
mean,
19,
you gotta like whatever's in your hand, you gotta do it. You know?
oh, I gotta do it. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
Whatever's in my hand.
yeah.
All right, it's in my hand. Maybe I just need some smoky.
Exactly. You gotta relax, calm down. Ole! Dogs.
Ole!
But anyway, in 1929, the former municipalities of Point Grey, British Columbia, and South Vancouver, British Columbia, were amalgamated into Vancouver. So
The
they used to be two
Canadians, I
things.
tell
The
you.
two have become one.
Whoa! There can only be one!
There is only one now, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, actually, did you know about British Columbia? Over in Vancouver, they have some of the richest soil and, like, the highest amount of variety of mushrooms grow out there.
Magic mushrooms.
Uh, Probably, that too.
And
But no, actually, they have some of the
remember,
richest soil out there
remember
for growing.
what we spoke about babysitting another mushroom person.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to do another mushroom person. Not if I'm on mushroom. If I'm being a mushroom person, I'm not babysitting another mushroom person.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
But anyway, moving on up to 1932, the United States Post Office Department issued a set of 12 stamps commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth.
Woo, whippity-doo. But you know what? I got something better for you in 1934.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I do. I totally do. Like in 1934, Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay became the first United States federal prison.
It didn't become the first federal prison, but it became the first, like, unintentional supermax before the actual.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was like the alpha version of the supermax that we know
You've
today.
taken a tour out there, right?
I have
and
not.
also, like,
you can?
No, you can, but no, I know you took a tour of the military base on the other side of Alcatraz. That's right.
Oh no, I didn't take a tour. I was there. There wasn't a guided tour. Like, I wasn't part of a group.
Around.
But I was just
right.
there. There's a lot of people. You just wander around, like SF 91. I think, I don't know, like the Nike missile base site. Then there's all those battlements that have been around since the Civil War, because the Bay of San Francisco is like.
It's a good stronghold, man.
Yeah, it's a really good, yeah. But anyway, moving on up. Oh, well, not moving up. And on the same year, in 1934, a law for the prevention of genetically diseased offspring came into effect in Nazi Germany. And this one frightens me because this sounds very much like something we would do today to battle the current situation.
Right?
So
it is an alarming thing. Like, it's really funny. Like, the reason why we do this show is, like, so we don't forget our history, so we don't
exactly
repeat history. As
the saying goes, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And with how, current educational systems, and I use that term extremely lightly, with these places, but, like, they're not teaching anything important. Like, and beyond all that, they're actively now, like, taking things out of the curriculum. And effectively dumbing down people, like, because if you don't know, you're not gonna know. So
it kind of reminds me of, like, that thing in, like, Battlestar Galactica, like the reboot. They said all this has happened before and will happen again, which is kind of creepy. But it's also like a thing to remind you, like, remember your past and your mistakes so that you don't. And that's
exactly
crazy. But, here's a lighter note of things. 1939, for those who know it now, is HP Computers. Hewlett-Packard is founded by Bill Hewlett in 1939 and Dave Packard in a garage in Palo Alto, California, which is the birthplace of our nowadays Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 1939. Like, one would think that would have been, like, way later in history, but no, like,
no, computers have been around forever. Well, not forever,
they've
been
been
for quite some time.
Well, yeah,
I guess if you count abacus, like.
Well, some would like argue, like, the way the pyramids and Mayan ruins, like, and stuff, and even out in Egypt, they're just big giant computers. The way they're set up kind of looks like a computer chip.
Yeah, you're right. Like, let me pull up an image real quick.
I can't remember. It's not Chichen Itza that has, like, it's like the largest Mayan ruin in, I think, Mexico. Like, if you look at the setup, it is completely like how a computer chip works.
Yeah, I have it here. I have it up right here.
Yeah,
if you watch my stream.
Yeah, I can see your stream.
Yeah. Is this what you're talking about?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That is weird, dude. Like.
So maybe we've had them for thousands of years, but, like, we just don't know how to use these ones because we're retard Ed.
Or, what if, and hear me out, but, like, what if, like, that civilization was only like a few generations after having lost that technology. So in
Yeah.
order to preserve it, they built an entire city to replicate that. Because even though they don't understand the function, they know what it looked like. So they're trying to
And they
document it the best way they can. This was before scripture, so like they could either write it on a stone wall, which would erode
yeah,
or anything. Which I don't know if they would know about that back
but,
then.
but
But
putting a placement like this is like a map
yeah,
to
you
a
know,
key. You know, are you the key? Are you the key master?
I am the gatekeeper. Are you the key master?
I am the key master. But here, guess what happened in 1942 after 1939 with the whole
What?
computer thing? Declaration by the United Nations signed by 26,
Yeah,
26 nations back
yeah.
in 1942. The good old UN.
Do you know the precursor to the UN?
Kind of, but you can,
The League of Nations, which was actually formed after World War One to prevent such a thing from ever happening again.
yeah,
And
the
then
war
it
to end
dissolved,
all
and guess what
wars.
happened? World War Two. It happened
Oh, yeah.
again. And then look at
Oh,
what's going on today. You know, like
Mm.
history repeats itself. Well, it sometimes doesn't repeat itself, but it does a really good impersonation. So
Oh, right, exactly. You know, because, like, actually, here, speaking of World War II, 1945 and World War II, the German Luftwaffe, Waffe,
Luftwaffe,
Luftwaffe, Luftwaffe. I could
Luftwaffe.
actually pronounce it. Yeah, I could actually pronounce it proper if I wanted to, but I just have fun reading things wrong. Okay, but anyways, the German Luftwaffe, Luftwaffe. We're just gonna stop there. But they launched Operation Bodenplatte. It's a massive, but it was massive. It failed. It was an attempt to knock out Allied air power in Northern Europe in a single blow, and it failed miserably.
You know, it sounds massive. Bodenplatte. That sounds like what happens after you eat too
Bodenplatte.
much Taco Bell. You have to go for a
You know,
big old Bodenplatte.
would be. I wonder if like if you took out the T's and put like the two S's, Bodenplatte, that would
Bodenplatte.
be. I wonder if that's an actual. Probably
I don't
that's probably
know.
something really wrong.
But anyway, in 1947, 2 years after that, the Cold War, during the Cold War, the American and British occupied. Let me restart that. 2 years after that, in 1947, during the Cold War, the American and British occupation zones in Allied occupied Germany, after World War II, obviously, merged to form the Bizone, which later, with the French zone, became part of West Germany.
Yeah, basically after like only a couple of years, what happened there was the British, the Americans, and the French unified their sections of Germany because when Germany like ended, they cut Germany into four pieces:
Hmm.
Russians, the French, the
United
Americans,
Kingdom
and the
and
British.
the United States. Yeah,
Yeah, and after only a couple of years, like three of them all united to make West Germany, and then
the
you had East.
Allies. Yeah,
Yeah, the Allies, and then we had the Cold War,
yeah.
and then that lasted up until what, like 1989. So
No, the Cold War is still technically going on if you really think about it.
technically, it is. It
But
really
the
is.
Soviet Union
Like,
collapsed in 1991, 92,
yeah, well,
somewhere in there.
I think like in '89 was when the Berlin Wall I think came down,
Yeah,
but that was like basically the fall of it, and
yeah.
then it
Have you
went from there.
seen Have you seen the Super 90s like Russian national anthem?
No, I haven't.
It is so 90s. Like
Oh man,
those
you gotta
old
watch.
90s sitcoms, like they have like that weird guitar, like they have that in the intro of the thing. Like
Oh
the
jeez,
beginning of the song, it reeks of 90s. It's hilarious. I gotta show that to you after this.
man,
But
I grew
anyway,
up in
moving on up to
the.
1947, the Canadian Citizenship Act of 1946 came into effect, converting British subjects into Canadian citizens. The Prime
Oh,
Minister was William. Actually, no. Prime Minister William Leon Mackenzie King became the first Canadian citizen. So,
oh,
happy
geez.
birthday, Canada, as a independent nation.
Yeah. Well, and Australia. Remember that 'cause Australia had some.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Australia and Canada.
imagine that British rule.
Yeah, slowly
But
falling apart.
oh, woo, the great year of 1948, which was the year my parents were born. The British Railway Network was nationalized to form British Railways. That's fun.
That's pretty cool. But that that's making me think, like, nationalization versus private sector. That just tells me that, the government runs the rails, which is fine, but I don't know.
They shouldn't. I think less government. I believe that
Definitely.
there should be some form of government, but I don't think that the government, because once they gain more extra power, they're never going to release it. They always say they're going to do it for like a temporary thing, like temporary
Yeah.
inflation. Like, you think people are going to go back on prices? No. The
Did
only
you
thing
know
is people,
taxes were temporary initially?
yeah, they were temporary. Yeah, we introduced them for the war effort, I believe, for World War One or World
Well,
War
no, I'm
Two or
not even
something.
talking about that. Like, in an ironic twist of fate, after the revolution, like the forming of our nation,
Yeah,
we started a tax uh, to, like, repay the debts created by, all the costs of the war, which is ironic because we went to war over tax, and then we started taxing our own people
yeah,
once again to be like, hey,
yeah.
thanks for helping us, become independent, but we
Because
need
they
money.
didn't
It's
their
just
work,
like,
because we didn't want
I
to.
am
Yeah,
once again
we didn't want
seeking
to
your
pay our taxes.
financial aid. So
No
we've been
taxation, baby.
this country has been Bernie Sanders-ing since, like, the beginning.
Right.
But anyway, speaking of governments and everything, in 1949, the United Nations ceasefire took effect in Kashmir from 1 minute before midnight. War between India and Pakistan stopped accordingly. So Pakistan, never mind, like, it wasn't made in the 70s, it was made back in the 40s. So it is a little older
Yeah.
than I thought, but not really that old when you think about it. You know?
Sorry, I had a cleavage itch there for all those. Saw that. I don't even care. You could keep that in.
Well, I'm not going to edit any of this. I'm gonna handbrake it and post it on the internet as is. I'm giving it
Heck yeah.
raw.
We're giving it raw. You
But
know what? But in 1906, Sudan achieved independence from Egypt and the United Kingdom.
that's
Good on
interesting.
you, Sudan.
How did they have two protectorates?
No, that was they had two protectorates. That was a different country in Africa.
What?
Wasn't that a different country in Africa that had the two protectorates, or was that still Sudan?
No, we
Like you
just
can.
said Sudan achieved independence from Egypt and the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, I see.
Like,
But that
how were they being ruled over by Egypt and the UK? That's interesting.
because the UK had a hand in it's basically just the UK.
All right, so it's just they just added in, like, the middleman, I guess.
I'm just gonna say, the British Empire knows bounds.
Well, 2 years after that, in 1958, the European Economic Community was established.
Was it? Oh,
Apparently,
yay.
yeah. And then 1 year
You know,
after that, during the Cuban Revolution,
Fulgencio.
Fulgencio
Fulgencio.
Batista, the dictator of Cuba, was overthrown by Fidel Castro's forces.
Dude, are you telling me that
What?
at one point? I'm making it.
The cars.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm saying Batista, like the WWE wrestler.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. God, he's been around.
So wait, does
He
that
goes
mean
up.
does that mean like when they mean overthrown? Was he thrown out of the ring? Overthrown?
Yes, he was thrown over the top rope, like in a battle royale.
But
Battle
anyway,
royale.
the year after that, in 1960, Cameroon achieved independence from France and the United Kingdom. Now that's odd. That the now
France.
we can't say the middleman excuse because those two are very different countries.
Oh, speaking of, because like you're talking, like a bunch of these people are just like establishing shit. Because in '62, West Samoa achieved independence from. It was its name changed to the independent state of Western. No,
Samoa.
that I didn't know. Like,
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, a lot of things are coming into effect on January 1st. Nations are being formed, nations are collapsing, laws, unlaws, like, January 1st
I,
is a busy day.
oh yeah, I
But
can't
anyway,
wait to
two
see
years
what
later, in 1964, speaking of all this stuff, the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland was divided into the independent republics of Zambia and Malawi and the British-controlled Rhodesia.
Huh. I used to remember hearing Rhodesia before, and I don't hear that anymore.
Rhodesia. And then 1 year after that, in 1965, the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan was founded in Kabul. So, happy birthday, Afghanistan. Well, not happy birthday. No, that's just a political party. Never mind. I'm dumb.
Happy birthday, political party.
Yeah, I
How's
don't
that
think I
going?
want to
How's
wish
that
them
going?
happy birthday though. Like anything that names himself the People's Republic of whatever, is usually
Yeah,
not for
well,
the people.
the CCCP. Think about them, the Chinese People's
Let's.
Republic or whatever.
We don't want this video to get taken down, so let's just watch what we
No.
say.
Oh yeah, that you can edit out. I
I'm not going
forgot.
to,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well,
anyway,
you know what I
5 years later, in 1970, the defined beginning of Unix time at 000000. So,
binary,
start of the
huh?
clock. No, it's not binary. Binary 01.
Ooh, dude, I get this next one right here,
Yes.
1970. Oh my god! Because hang on. before I talk about 1970, let me do a little advertisement here.
You know what? Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. I don't smoke.
1971, cigarette advertisements were banned on American television.
And I do not condone smoking. Like, there's a story behind these. I don't even smoke them. Like, it's still in the cellophane. You can see.
Oh yeah,
I don't suck fags.
but I do, and I'm proud of.
What's up, guys?
I love my
We're recording the
buttons.
show right now, but like in 1973, Denmark, Ireland, and the United Kingdom were admitted into the European Economic Community.
No
So,
shit.
Yeah,
Well, there we go. Look at that.
yeah.
Denmark. Yeah, good old Denmark. But you know what? In 1979, I got one for you here. A normal diplomatic relations were established between the United States and quote unquote People Republic of China.
The People's Republic of China.
Yeah. Normal diplomatic.
Thank you, Richard Nixon.
Thanks, Obama.
No, Richard Nixon. Like,
I know.
isn't it like kind of fitting
That's
that
ironic.
Richard Nixon, the only president born like on the West Coast, like I believe, he was born out here in He was born in my city. Like his birthplace is just down the street. I can walk there in 15, 20 minutes.
No shit, dude.
And-
That's pretty fucking wicked, dude.
And I really want to go over there and just piss on his grave after, I'm gonna
Well,
edit that out.
I'm not gonna say no. I think it was good that we built relations with China, but at the same time, like, there definitely needs to be like tariffs and that. But I'm not a trade person or professional. This is just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
That I think we should keep like relations with them, but we should definitely like, tax the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the fucking shit that they bring us, like, not like a lot of the toys that come from China. I'm not saying anything bad against the who make them, but man, they're poorly made, and they can be health hazards.
Yeah.
And just like, I think we should put like restrictions on them because like there's still like a slave trade kind of going on there.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal opinion. Like, and who am I to say? And I know that could get me in trouble. Sorry, YouTube, but I have a right to an opinion.
Yeah.
I still love the people of China. I love the people.
Yeah.
They're great people.
But speaking of great people, in 1981, Greece was admitted into the European community.
Boom!
Greece.
Good on Greece. Good on Greece.
Oh, and then I claim this one. 2 years later, in 1983, the ARPANET officially changed to using TCP/IC, the Internet Protocol, effectively creating the Internet. Happy birthday, Internet!
Happy birthday, Internet. Hey, by the way, I get the two 1984s because that is the year of my birth.
All right.
Okay, so in 1984, Brunei became independent of the United Kingdom. I don't even know where the hell that is. I'm assuming it's some Mediterranean country or something.
Let me look it up
Like
real
off
quick.
of the coast of Spain or Portugal or that.
Brunei.
Yeah. Brunei became independent of the United Kingdom.
Let's see here.
I bet you it's a nice tourist country.
Brunei. It's in Indonesia, or it's north of Indonesia.
Well, I was way off.
Yeah.
Way off, yep. Comes to tell you how good I am with geography. Actually, I'm pretty good with geography, just not like when it comes to the Pacific Ocean, I'm not the best with it.
Yeah.
So.
But what else happened in 1984?
And also 1984, on the 1st of January, the original American Telephone and Telegraph Company good old AT&T was divested of its 22 Bell System Company. As a result of the settlement of the 1974 United States Department of Justice antitrust suit against AT&T.
Yep.
Damn. So basically, they got AT&T got screwed over.
Yeah, well, they got too big. Like, unlike today, this country used to actually try to do things against monopolies. Like, when a company got too big, the government actually went in and said, okay, split up,
Yep.
And then, unfortunately, though, that inevitably created the umbrella corporations, because all these corporations are their own entity, as our countries. But just like countries, they can have, like a ruling country over it. Like, how, as we've gone through the show, a lot of these countries no longer are dependent on the UK or France or this or that. Well, it's the same thing with companies. So, Google itself is not its own entity. Google is owned by the Alphabet Corporation. So Google is not independent. So,
yeah, but Google's gotten too big, and not to mention, seriously, their search engines.
But yeah, anyway, the next year in 1985, the first British mobile phone call was made by Michael Harrison to his father, Sir Ernest Harrison, chairman of Vodafone.
Oh.
So the first British cell phone call. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty nifty. In 88?
Yeah.
1988, we'll say. I was raised Lutheran. This is going to be fun. The evangelical Lutheran Church in America came into existence, creating the largest Lutheran denomination I'm sorry. Not domination, but might as well be the same thing. In the United States. So my religious belief is the largest one.
Nice.
In the United States. Well, was. I can't say that now. It's 2022. So, I mean, this is 1988. I mean, I was 4 years old, but I was raised Lutheran. Yeah.
I don't know what denomination of Christianity I was raised as. I think I was just straight up just generic Christian. Because we didn't...
Oh, go ahead.
We never went to church or anything, but we celebrated Christmas and everything. But actually, I think my ancestry is more of the Jewish heritage, because my great grandfather was full-blooded Jew. He was also German.
we had a Polish Jew line in our family, but we don't practice. So, I mean, we have some of that. That's where our Eastern European heritage comes from.
Yeah.
But
anyway, moving on up to 1989, the Montreal Protocol came into force, stopping the use of chemicals contributing to ozone depletion.
Thanks, Antarctica. Because of the big hole down there.
Yeah.
Why is it always why is it a hole way down at the bottom of the southern hemisphere?
I thought it was over the North Pole. Or in that...
No, it was over the South Pole.
Ah.
Actually, it's gotten better, but I hear it's getting worse again. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, great.
More propaganda. Yay. I'm not saying what we do, doesn't affect our Earth, but we're not making a huge effect as much as people are saying we are. And so... But that's neither here nor there.
Everything's politicized. Everything's a weapon. It's just gone absolutely sideways, and you just... Unfortunately... How dare you! You gotta get the tremble. How dare you!
How dare you! How dare you!
But anyway, the next year in 1990, David Dinkins was sworn in as New York's first black mayor. That's cool.
That's pretty fucking nifty.
Yeah.
In 93, the dissolution of Czechoslovakia happened. Czechoslovakia was divided into the Czech Republic and the Slavic Republic, which we know today. And I think also
because nobody can spell Czechoslovakia without having an aneurysm. So
no, yeah, right? It's I'm tired of writing my country's name. This is my address. Ship to Czechoslovakia. Imagine that in freaking on Amazon today. You're just ugh.
Czechoslovakia.
I'm sure they have it abbreviated so they don't have to write it out. If that's what they would do. More than likely. One would hope.
Well, Well, speaking
But no,
about what people would do, the next year in 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement, aka NAFTA, came into effect.
yeah,
Yeah,
good
NAFTA.
old NAFTA.
Let's look up
But didn't
NAFTA.
well didn't
NAFTA.
Trump? No, Trump dissolved it with an executive
Uh,
order. Biden dissolved that executive order with an executive order when he went into office. Which I can't wait for January 21st this year for
there's
this day in history. It's gonna be fun.
NAFTA was a pact eliminating most trade barriers between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico that went into effect on January 1st, 1993. Some of its provisions were implemented immediately, while others were staggered over the 15 years that followed. So,
Yeah, it ended up just being a fucking shit show after like the staggered part. I mean, like
yeah.
I'm all for like trading between Canada and Mexico and all and South America, like because they do have good like exports. So they're coming into us for us making them import. But
Yeah. But speaking of
they
countries
have
working together, in 1995, Australia, Finland, and Sweden joined the EU. Oh, not Australia, Austria. Why? Australia cannot join the EU. No, Austria, Finland, and Sweden joined the European Union.
oh did they?
Yeah, 95. But also in
Well, you
95,
you missed well no you missed 94 because
no,
no never mind you did.
no, I
I
didn't.
read
But
it.
a couple other things happened in 95. The Draupner wave in the North Sea in Norway was detected, confirming the existence of rogue waves, freak waves.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that. Like,
yeah,
because like people were saying like rogue waves.
yeah,
Yeah, like and they happen because actually I think at some juncture like there was like a passenger ship that got struck by a wave and it's. I've heard some conspiracy theorists say not only did an iceberg hit the Titanic, but a rogue wave hit it too. I was like, yeah, no,
maybe. I mean,
you never know. But
but there's that
also,
there's that whole like Britannica like theory, like um,
yeah,
because like remember because like there's the Titanic, but it had two sister ships, the Lusitania,
yeah,
which sank and caused
and,
the
and
United States to
the
get into
World War
World War
One.
One, but also the Britannica.
Yep.
But there's a theory saying that they swapped the names, so the Titanic, as we know it, is actually the Britannica.
Oh,
Yeah, because something
that
happened involving like the Britannica got hit by another ship or something, or
was it all done by the North Star Line or whatever
yeah,
it was?
yeah. There's a whole like
Or, like,
conspiracy.
no, White Star Line, I think it was
It was
called.
the White Star Line.
Yeah, White Star Line, and then they dissolved shortly after the Titanic.
Well,
I
they
think they
went
said.
bankrupt. They lost. Well, they
Oh
lost the
yeah,
Titanic in what was it, 11,
12,
what
1912.
1912, and then
Actually, it was
Lusitania,
when
the
yeah,
Lusitania in
Lusitania was
1914. Or
14, but like it took us until 1918 to get ourselves in
yeah,
or something. Like we were only in the World War One for like a year or two, and once we came in, like we
yeah.
just we shut it down. But then we really shut it down in World War Two. Like as that Japanese general said, we're about to awaken the sleeping giant.
Oh yeah, no, like our industrial capabilities, back then were no
Dude,
joke.
well, you gotta thank women too. Like when the men went
Yeah.
off, like that's when women decided to start working and taking up arms and like making munitions
Well,
for the
even
husbands
before
out
that,
there.
well,
Like we were doing that before.
well, even before that, like there's a YouTube channel out there called History Bombs. They do music videos about a bunch of things, and one of them, this is another video I want to show you. It's about World War One and everything, and like there's this one section where the lady nurse is tending to a wounded guy. And he's just like, and who do you think manufactured your gun? Us girls will see this war is won.
Right?
Yeah,
No,
like
actually, no. Us women, like we came to bat when it needed to be. Like I
yeah,
wish we'd do it again. Like
Rosie the Riveter.
I don't. Yeah, Rosie the Riveter, man. She was like I did a puzzle of 1,000 puzzle of Rosie the Riveter with my mom last year.
Nice.
Like,
But anyway, let's
yeah,
get back on track. On that same year, 1995, the World Trade Organization came into being.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then we jump up about 3 years to 98. Following a currency reform, Russia began to circulate new rubles to stem inflation and promote confidence.
Also, it wasn't the 1st of January, but in 1998, just in the year in general, first time I ever saw the band Garbage Line at
Interesting.
First Avenue. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, not First Avenue, York. Yeah.
Well, Well, speaking
But
of
anyway,
economies and everything, in 1999, the euro currency was introduced in 11 member nations of the European Union, with the exception of the UK, Denmark, Greece, and Sweden. Greece, though, adopted the euro 2 years later. So,
and we're gonna jump up a few years here after that because, like, speaking of like the EU currency and stuff, and like the EU in general, 2007, Bulgaria and Romania joined the United Nations or the EU,
yeah.
not United Nations, but that's UN. I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
EU.
Well, they were
So yeah,
probably already in the UN, maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
they had to have been. God, Romania has a really good gymnastics team, but they always got like shit over for like ever.
Man, like, there's a lot of European stuff happening. Like, several years after that, in 2011, Estonia officially adopted the euro currency and became the 17th eurozone country.
Yeah,
So,
no, I miss the Deutschmark, man. Like, and I miss like pounds and everything like that. Like, I think they still do pounds in Britain, but like I don't like how like all that currency is the same throughout Europe. I think every country should have their own currency. I
well,
think
I
that,
believe that because I know that the UK have always had pounds, they still have it, and I think
yeah,
especially now because didn't they recently leave the EU? Didn't Brexit actually
yeah,
happen?
yeah. Brexit did happen.
Yeah,
I'm
so
pretty
of
sure.
course you don't
Yeah,
have the euro. They're not even in the union anymore. So
no, I don't think. I think the union should be dissolved. To be honest, like I think everybody should go back to their own currency and be whatever. Because basically, what they did is they just locked it into a centralized bank.
well, that's essentially like they were planning on doing that to the Americas and then to Asia because like they had the
Yeah,
European Union
yeah,
and the euro, and then they were going to try to have the American Union with the Amero, and then
yep.
the Asian
With
Union with
yeah,
the Asia
Yeah,
or whatever.
Canada's currency,
Like they're
Mexico's
trying
currency.
to centralize everything. It's a good concept because we are all in this world together,
Yeah,
but
but at the same time,
we
like
we as a
you're
species are not
stop.
capable of having a large government that can span such a big thing. I mean, like, the
Well,
United States was, like like back in like the 1800s and stuff, like during expansion when we were still like like discovering like manifest destiny and doing all that crap. Like the general consensus was that our nation was eventually just going to crumble because no country can be that big and stay
no.
alive for too long. Well,
A one world government is a bad idea. I
yeah.
believe in sovereignty between nations, and one of the ways you keep your sovereignty is by
Hmm.
keeping your own currency
Yeah.
separate from other countries. Sure, you have to go through the pain in the ass of transferring that out, but like, man, it's fucking fun when you go down to Mexico and transfer your American currency to pesos.
You get all these coins and bills like, oh, I'm rich, I'm
It's like,
rich.
what the hell? No, but everything's so high priced. Still,
Yeah.
like, it's so expensive, but like, actually, in reality, what you realize is like it's about the same price. It just sounds bigger because of the difference.
Yeah.
Like, so like something that's $10 is like 700 pesos or whatever. I don't even know if that's true, but like this is back when I went to Mexico. It's like 12 years old.
Yeah, but speaking of
But
economy and everything, in 2015, the Eurasian Economic Union came into effect, creating a political and economic union between Russia, Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan, and
Kyrgyzstan,
that one.
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
Hey, but this is my favorite one. I'm sorry because like good old Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. Those are really cool countries. Actually, my
Stand the
dad's
man.
next door. Yeah, well, no, actually, one of my dad's next door neighbors lives. His neighbor married a woman from Kazakhstan, and we did this really cool thing. Like they had a laptop open, and it like was a test your knowledge for geographical locations. I actually had one of the highest scores. I wasn't the highest, but I actually knew my geography pretty well, for the most
That's
part. But like, yeah, that one
nice.
country that I was like, oh, I thought it was in the Mediterranean, was in Indonesia. Yeah, things like that happen. But
Yeah,
Brunei, Brunei, yeah,
Brunei.
Bernie. I'm just gonna call it Bernie.
Bernie.
Here, because I can't wait. I've been waiting for it because of what it's the acronym for this is freaking hilarious. But this is 2021, January 1st.
Last year.
Cuba's, yeah, last year. Cuba's day zero, this is in quotation marks on here, unifies its currencies by withdrawing Cuban convertible peso, aka the CUC. CUC.
The cook.
Alongside steep increases in prices, salaries, effectively devaluing the remaining Cuban peso for the first time since 1959. So basically, they just kind of screwed themselves over, and I think this is why Cuba has mainly been protesting and trying to ask America to help them
So,
in the last year.
so I guess you can say they went cuck and got fucked.
Yep, yeah, you know, get woke, go broke.
Well, anyway, let's skip ahead.
Yeah, we're going to births and deaths now.
We are going to births and deaths. So
You
births.
get all the births, I get the deaths.
Births.
I like
Well,
that.
I'll give you half the births because only 3 people died of any notes.
Well,
today.
no, I'm gonna add in a couple because we didn't do any today in history because there's a couple extra deaths I want to make mention of.
All right. Well, births in 1735. Paul Revere. He was a silversmith and engraver, and we all know about Paul Revere. But something interesting about something interesting about Paul Revere is he actually got detained early on. The whole ride of Paul Revere, there was dozens of people. Like they all went out in their own, like they had the whole thing, okay, you go this way, I go that way. We all. So Paul Revere gets all the credit, but it was a whole conglomeration of people, and he actually didn't do a whole lot of work when it comes down to it. So
I will take one of your births though. It's 1948. It's the same year that my parents were born, so I'll take that one.
Okay, well, we'll move on up to 1752. Betsy Ross. She was a seamstress, in the United. Well,
she made the American flag
before the United States. So an American seamstress, credited with designing the flag of the United States.
Yep. Yeah, it was the one where it had the 13.
Yeah.
With the 13 stripes.
Yeah, the stripes for the 13 colonies, and then it had
stars were also how many states were part of.
Yeah, because they were colonies and then they were also states. I
think. Because now we have 50 stars on our flag.
Yeah. Well, the stripes are the original 13 colonies.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they made the state.
Yeah, oh no, the stars. I think the stars were the people that were the states that were added into it.
Yeah.
At the time.
By the way,
I think they started with the 13.
Speaking of stars and stripes, did you know that all of the flags in Disneyland and such, they're all they're incorrect. They're all missing a star, or they're missing a stripe, or they're missing something, so that way they're not actually American flags. So that way they can keep them up during rain. They don't have to take them down. So in order to penny pinch, they fly a flag that's not even of anything. So that's the most anti-American thing I can think of.
Yeah, that is because technically when it rains or if there's weather,
you're supposed to take it down. But see, that costs money. Now you have to have people, pay them to take it down, all that stuff, or add jobs to people, therefore, distracting them from, other things. So,
still illegal to burn the
so in order to save
too.
money, they just, don't take them down and don't break any laws by not flying a flag technicality, which that's just absolutely appalling,
Xander, I've got the low battery side.
Uh-oh. Well, let's.
I got 15 minutes.
Okay, well let's quick this up then. In 1863, Pierre de Coubertin, he was a French historian and educator, and he founded the International Olympic Committee. And William Fox, in 1879, Hungarian-American screenwriter and producer, founded the Fox Film Corporation and Fox Theaters. John Garand, 1888, Canadian-U.S. engineer, designed the M1 Garand rifle. J. Edgar Hoover, 1895, U.S. law enforcement official, the first director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Jeez, that
Larry L. King, in 1929, U.S. journalist, author, and playwright. I'm not sure if that's the same Larry King with the shoulders, but
with the face who never died and had a wife that was 3 times younger than him.
And then we have James Sinegal, 1936, U.S. businessman, co-founded Costco.
Oh, well, hell, shit's next. All right, well, this is a shout-out to my mumsy. Dick Quacks, 1948, New Zealand runner and politician.
I honestly put that in there because the name was a little silly. Dick Quacks. Does your dick quack?
Well, it wasn't because of the name. Yeah, it does your dick. If I had one, it would.
That's frightening. We have Gary Johnson in 1953, a U.S. businessman and politician, the 29th governor of New Mexico. I actually voted for him, not last election, but
I know who Gary
before
Johnson
that.
is.
Yeah, the 2016 election, I voted for Gary Johnson. He was running for Libertarian.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Or actually, I think he was doing a different party.
A Green Party?
I think the Green, no, probably not the Green Party. I don't know. But then the last birth was Vern Troyer in 1969. The guy who played Mini Me.
69.
Yeah, that's a nice year.
Always is. Sad day. These happened over the week. These are not mentioned here for today's deaths, but unfortunately, last night on New Year's Eve, Miss Betty White passed away, and that's sad because like she was 2 weeks away from her 100th birthday, and she was like one of the funniest ladies I've ever seen in my entire life. I loved her personality. She was a great woman.
Did you know that she was older than sliced bread? Literally, like sliced bread was invented like a year after she was born or something like that.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, she was honest to God, older than sliced bread.
Dude, she mayor, man. She was the mayor. Like I say, when I use the term mayor, it's like kind of like the goat, like greatest of all time. She was a goat. Also, there's some senator that Chuck Schumer said was his mentor. I can't remember his fucking name, but he died this week. And like was it 2-3 days ago? Late great John Madden passed away.
I think it was 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days ago he passed away.
You're saying Chuck Schumer?
Chuck Schumer was like really like no Chuck Schumer's mentor. Like the senator died. I can't remember what state he was from. But state senator passed away at like the age of 82 or something.
What is this? It says here, Harry Reid.
Harry Reid, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, he
Harry
passed
Reid.
away. Yeah, Harry Reid passed away. I don't really know too much about him, so I can't say about him. But
let's get to the deaths of today and wrap this up.
Yes, we better because my laptop's. All right, so the deaths of today: Alfred Ely Beach, 1986. He was a U.S. publisher and lawyer.
You got that backwards. It's 1896, not 1986.
1896. Sorry. I'm dyslexic sometimes.
I'd rather be dyslexic than less dyslexic.
Right. Well, he was a publisher and lawyer. He created Beach Pneumatic Transit.
Pneumatic transit, yeah. You know what a pneumatic tube is, right? using pressure and everything.
Yeah.
He essentially made a transit system based off of pneumatics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's cool that they didn't name the whole thing after his last name. So. We have Grace Hopper. She died in 1992. She was a U.S. computer scientist and admiral, and she co-developed COBOL.
And I'm actually looking up COBOL right now. COBOL stands for Common Business Oriented Language. So, and COBOL is a compiled English-like computer programming language designed for business use. So she designed a computer language. I can't hear you.
Oh, my ex.
I think you're lagging.
One of my ex's dad's, he invented.
You're lagging really badly.
Oh no, one of my boyfriend.
I'm not hearing anything. You're coming in and cutting in and out.
Invented CAD. Like.
I'm not hearing any of this. Are you there?
Oh, it might be my battery.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. The last death was... No. Go ahead.
Kirill Gligorov, 2012. He was a Bulgarian, Macedonian lawyer and politician. First president of the Republic of Macedonia.
Yep. When Macedonia became a republic, he was the first one in charge. Anyway, that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. For your dose of passive events daily, I am A.O. Xander.
And I am Who is Alice.
And you are you. Until tomorrow, toodles!
Toodles!